What's going on? Yeah, I'm gonna call this one right here the Lord of Merchandise. If you don't know who the Lord of Merchandise is, well, in Isaiah 14 it says, "O thou Lucifer, iniquity was found in thee, because the multitude of thine merchandise." And it's like Musashi. He kind of cuts down merchants because he says they only live by taking profit, and he just kind of sees that as a shitty, scandalous way to live. You know what I'm saying? Because they basically get to fund the wars. They basically get to make a profit off everything else, dude. And which we need them, but then again, we need to also not let them be. They're at high risk of becoming greedy, and like Satan, iniquity was found in thee and caused thee to fall. And this is what causing him to fall, man, is that he said he would become God. When he said that, he fell. You know what I'm saying? It's part of it. You get dazzled by your own merchandise. It's like Scarface when he's sitting in that mountain of cocaine. He had all that merchandise, and he had a godlike complex. You know what I'm saying? So the Bible talks about it. It's not against work and in business, but if you're in business and work, you have to be fair, and you also, if you have a lot, you got to be really courteous and generous and charitable. You know what I'm saying? So it's frowned upon to be rich and to hoard, but it's also frowned upon to not seek after anything, not to be non-productive at all. And that applies in many ways. I mean, listen, if you were out there preaching, praying, ministering, healing people, you know what I'm saying, teaching them, I think some of those people you taught maybe owe you a loaf of bread so you could eat. There's your daily wage. If you have a bigger family, well, people should give you 2 loaves of bread for your family as well, so you still earned something. And here's the thing: even if you starve, you still earned for the kingdom. Though this guy on earth is Satan, is the Lord of the merchandise of the earth. But listen, God is the Lord of the storehouse of heaven. You know what I'm saying? And we really don't know exactly what's in there, what's in that storehouse. But you can, even the devil told Jesus, hey, submit to me, and I will make you the Lord of the merchandise of the earth. Basically, that's what he said. I'll give you all the kingdoms of the earth. That's what the merchandise is. It says they will be traffickers of men's souls. That means and it says, beware of these kind. They will make merchandise of you. The law of the sea. Basically, it says that all of us people are human. Just basically, we're commodities. They've already done that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the work of Satan, because they made merchandise of us. We are actually we're meat. It's just like when in football or basketball, they have those recruit centers where they look at all the guys kind of like a lot like they would back in the day when the slaves came in off a ship. A bunch of people to look at them, look at their teeth, look for anything wrong with them, and determine what they're worth. And this is called Baalim, reward for air. Baal, Baal. It's the sun god. Another variation of Apollyon, the same thing. It's the matrix. It's the structure. It's society. It's like, here's the thing: the reason men will stay in the matrix, because if they go out in the wild, they'll get afraid because they won't eat as good, and things will be less certain. Even though you'll be free to starve, free to die, free to freeze to death, free to drown, free to freeze to, there's all be devoured by beasts. But if you're free indeed. You know what I'm saying? But no one wants to pay the price to be free. Everyone would rather stay here in Egypt and just serve the Lord of merchandise, overtly or inadvertently, and covertly. Mostly inadvertently, because people believe this Baalim, this Baal, this Lord of merchandise is God. This is who, by the works of thine hands, this is the same God. This is the architect of the matrix. Let me think. Traffickers of men's souls. They'll make merchandise. You know. Yeah. It's like It's like, what does Jesus say? He says, "Who does Rome make pay taxes? The the Romans or the strangers?" And they said the strangers. And he goes, "So then are the strangers free?" And he left that question. It's like, no, they're free as long as they keep paying taxes. Therein lies kind of like, listen, you're born into bondage either way. I mean, if there's a practice that is killing you but you can't stop, I mean, that's bondage too. It comes in multiple forms. It could be mental, it could be physical, it could be amalgamation of it could be all like mental, physical, and psychological, and pharmaceutical, and sociological. I mean, and that's the thing. That's kind of like the Matrix, that movie again. It's a fictionalization of the real, basically. And see, that's why like rappers always it's like they get clothes. They get paid to wear people's clothes because they make a commodity of them. It's like the Pope used to say, "Hey, if you pay me 200 bars of gold, you can be saved." That's the same thing, making a trafficker of your soul. It's like, all right, you gotta go do this. You gotta go wipe out these people to get into heaven. And it's trafficking of men's souls. Uh, you gotta be careful of that, man, because the Lord of Merchandise, man, it's hard, man. Even if, man, we still got to deal with him sometimes, because he does have the authority on the earth. It says in the Revelations that the power and authority will be given to the dragon. They worship the dragon, and then he gives his power and authority to the beast, and then the whole world goes under microchippery. And that basically is because they want to make everything merchandise. Everything will be tracked, recorded, and documented through technological and then transhumanistic and human engineering, and it's just ugly. I mean, this is part of that Satan's I will. I will, basically, he says, in order for him to accomplish what he stated in Isaiah, he has to go through and recreate the whole earth in his image. I mean, I don't know how that can be done, but it's like the Bible says, if it was possible, it would happen. That's how powerful this really is. Even though it seems all funny and games, those crazy talk, superstitious, man, that's too crazy to be real. I mean, that can't be true. I understand all those things, because it is that crazy. And I mean, that's the perfect camouflage, is that it's beyond what you could. It's so far beyond even what you could imagine. Now imagine whatever you think it is. It's probably 100 million times worse, and that's the truth about it. That's why God has to be even a million times more than that good for everything to go according to plan, which therein lies the true power in these things we are dealing with, man. It's just, like I said, man, Balaam, reward for error, that's what our churchianity is based off of. All that. Keep working hard. I mean, you can give more tithes to your guru if you keep working harder. But then again, I'm not against none of that. I'm not saying it's like what it is they take what's good out of things and exalt it to the point where it becomes like a form of idolatry. It's like mixing something else with things, and then not declaring things as they are, not rightly dividing them, and then kind of purposefully changing them and making them profitable for you to the point where they just deteriorate into total just falsehoods, hypocrisy, and just self-destructive and vampiric and parasitic and cannibalistic and predatory. And we're right under that right now, just barely under it. The fact that I get to make this video shows we're not all the way there yet. But when these stop, when these insane ramblings of all this crazy stuff that won't matter after the Armageddon, but at the moment they seem real important. So you got to understand my my attempts to just keep It's like, man, it's target practice until the shot actually comes where you can't make a mistake from beginning to end. You gotta practice in the meantime. It's just like, what do people do in the off season? They train. You know what I'm saying? For things that ain't happening yet. Though that they're in them, but they're not in them yet. They're getting ready. It's what everyone should be doing. So it's like, you just gotta survey the land, man.